So look, the issue of gun control is complex, we know that, and I completely empathize with people who lose their loved ones to gun violence and then go on to advocate for tighter restrictions. That said, I hate it when people get propped up by the media as a result of, for example, school shootings, like David Hogg, who was one of the survivors of the Parkland School Shooting and then went on to start March for Our Lives, a student-led organization that advocates for gun control legislation.
We're going to take this to every election, to every state and every city. We're going to make sure the best people get in our elections to run, not as politicians, but as Americans. This is not cutting it. When people try to suppress your vote, and there are people who stand against you because you're too young, we say no more. When politicians say that your voice doesn't matter because the NRA owns them, we say no more. When politicians send their thoughts and prayers with no action, we say no more. And to those politicians supported by the NRA that allow the continued slaughter of our children and our future, I say get your resumes ready. Today is the beginning of spring, and tomorrow is the beginning of democracy. Now is the time to come together, not as Democrats, not as Republicans, but as Americans.
Yet, he can't seem to answer any pushback from people about gun control.
Mr. Hawk, thank you so much for being at the National March here. I just wanted to follow up with you one last time. Do you have any
copyrighted music? This is copyrighted music, and if you're a Disney lawyer, you can't use this song anywhere.
Awesome. Did you have any comment on gun control going against the idea of civil rights for people of color in our country? If you have no comment, that's cool too. Why are you playing copyrighted music?
And he was actually called out by a Chinese immigrant on gun restrictions.
My name is Lily Tang Williams. Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution. So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me, a gun owner tonight, our government in the US, in DC, will never become a tyrannical government? Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever guarantee that any government will not be tyrannical.
Well, then the debate on gun control is over because I will never give up my guns. Never. And you should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship of CCP.
The fact that David couldn't even refute the idea that gun control laws would result in losing any rights tells me that he's propped up by the government. Because then this guy gets elected as the co-chair of the DNC, though that was short-lived, but that's a separate issue, because then you have Kashuv, also a survivor of the Parkland School Shooting, who chose a different path.
Our courtrooms are protected by guns. Our airports are protected by guns. Our banks are protected by guns. And guess what? Even our elected officials are protected by guns. Why are schools not deserving of the same protection? Politicians rail for gun control, yet they're protected by DC police who are armed. Do our youth not deserve the same protection? Why does the left think that our kids don't deserve the same protection as our elected officials?
And unlike David, Kyle was never propped up as a media figurehead. Instead, he was character assassinated. Case in point, Harvard rescinded his admission, which they say was because of racist comments stemming from leaked text messages from a former friend where he supposedly said anti-Semitic things and the N-word. And this happened when he was 16, 2 years prior to this. And when he wrote a long-winded apology taking full responsibility for the idiotic and hurtful things he wrote with no excuses, acknowledging the harm his words caused and accepted the legitimate criticism, and even requested a hearing to appeal Harvard's decision, but they declined, saying the matter was final. And all this happened after the deadline to accept other college offers had passed. Which, look, I'm not defending Kyle's use of slurs, no one in their right mind should, but I do think that people change, and if you read this full apology, which I'll link in the description, he does acknowledge that the shooting had changed his perspective and that he did reflection. But no, none of that mattered to Harvard. And I do find it interesting that number one, those who participated in those conversations with him didn't say anything then, and number two, after he becomes a gun advocate is when this comes out. It's almost as if there's an incentive to out those who are pro-gun. And so while I am weary of people who call these school shootings hoaxes, I can't help but wonder when these things happen, is there a deep state orchestrated campaign to shut down dissenting voices and to stop nuanced conversations from happening? And people are seeing right through it, and that's why their tactics aren't working. That's why people like Jim Acosta, former CNN anchor and now independent journalist, stoop so low as to use AI to quote-unquote interview Joaquin Oliver, someone who died in the Parkland school shooting.
Joaquin, it's Jim Acosta. I was wondering if you could tell me what happened to you.
I appreciate your curiosity. I was taken from this world too soon due to gun violence while at school. It's important to talk about these issues so we can create a safer future for everyone. What would you like to know more about?
Joaquin, I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard. It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin. We definitely need more of that.
I'm so glad you think so. More kindness and understanding can truly make a difference. Together, we can create a world where everyone feels safe and supported. Anything else on your mind?
I would like to know more about you. Can you tell us about yourself? What did you like to do?
I'm all about love, laughter, and living life to the fullest. I cherish my family and friends and always try to spread joy wherever I go. Though my life was cut short, I want to keep inspiring others to connect and advocate for change.
Joaquin, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Like, what's your favorite sport?
I love basketball. It's such a fun way to connect with friends and show off some skills. Plus, there's nothing like the thrill of a good game.
Guac, I want to know what your favorite basketball team is.
I'd probably go with the Miami Heat. They have such a passionate fan base and an exciting playing style. How about you? Do you have a favorite basketball player?
Oh, yeah, I definitely like LeBron James. He's amazing.
LeBron is incredible. His skills on the court and his leadership off it are truly inspiring. He's made such a huge impact in the game and beyond.
Now that wasn't the full interview, there's more, where Acosta tries to ask about Joaquin's favorite movies and stuff. But notice how even up until Jim Acosta led the AI bot with the prompt about his favorite sport, even just asking him, tell me about yourself, he regurgitates the same message of love, kindness, community engagement, things like that. Which, having an environment where people feel like they are in a safe space does facilitate compassion for others. It's just so disingenuous. And maybe that was a true representation of Joaquin. I have no reason to question that. But when you have an AI bot of a dead person saying, I believe in strong gun control laws, you don't know that's what he believed. And this isn't a question of gun control laws and if they're effective or not. That's a debate for a different time. But the point is that people like Jim Acosta are probably jeering at Alex Jones's heated positions on whether the government is trying to take our guns, all the while possibly spreading disinformation himself. And he thinks these AI interviews are really gonna sway people. Talk about desperate. And whether you're pro-gun, anti-gun, somewhere in the middle, the one thing that people value is authenticity. And when you stoop this low, it gives credence to the idea that people like David Hogg were maybe not crisis actors, but paid shills by the liberal media to spread the message of gun control.
I had a fire alarm earlier that day, and that was a drill, so we thought this was a drill too, just another one. Because we have a lot of fire alarms, a lot of fire drills at the school. After we heard the first gunshot, we initially thought it was a drill. Actually, that was a bad choice.
It's okay, you're fine.
Actually, that was a bad choice because the janitor, sorry.
It's okay, you're fine, David, you're fine.
Honestly, when I was going out, I was kind of in, I was in, hold on.
It's okay.
When I was going out, I was in shock.
Yes, hang on, I don't know how to put this in perspective. It's okay.
So most of my friends that made it out, one of them went into a bathroom in the same, I believe in the same hallway as the shooter. Oh, hold on.
It's okay.
One of them went into the same bathroom, I believe, as the hallway shooter. He was in there at the same time, and he was in the bathroom, and he didn't know if he was going to live.
And look, I get that it's hard to recall traumatic events, especially right after a shooting, but the way he stumbles over his words almost feels like he's trying to remember something he was told to say. Maybe he wasn't paid off before that particular clip, but when someone becomes a national spokesperson overnight, it's fair to wonder how much of the message was their own. When you prop these people up to fit your gun control narrative, you lose so much credibility. And the AI interview by Jim Acosta may very well have been the nail in the coffin. But guys, I want to thank you all for watching this video as always, and if you appreciated my commentary, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned a subscription. Here's some more videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.